Welcome to the Ron Stokes Buckeye Weekly Update, brought to you by WOW Internet, Phone, and Cable.
Welcome to Buckeye Fast Break, sponsored by WOW Internet, Phone, and Cable. I'd like to say thank you to our special guest, Jim Jackson, former Ohio State All-American, Big Ten Player of the Year, National Player of the Year, NBA great. Jim Jackson, lead analyst for the Big Ten Network. Jim, thanks for being here.
No, thank you. Anytime, Ronnie.
All right, no problem. Well, let's get right into the game tonight. Ohio State plays James Madison. Jim, tell us about the matchup tonight. Obviously, Dallas Lauderdale is going to be in the lineup. How does that differ from what we've seen with this young Buckeye team so far?
Well, it's going to help them tremendously if you look at inside presence defensively especially. I mean, here's a guy that can block shots, that can rebound, and if he's not blocking a shot, there's more of an intimidation factor inside. But what that allows the guard and backcourt players to do is really push up on their men, knowing that if they do happen to get beat, which they don't want to, but they know they have a guy behind them that can block shots and clog up the lane.
And I guess that's even more important this year since Coach Mott has gone to more man-to-man defense versus zone like he's done in years past.
Well, it is. And again, before, Coach Mata didn't think he had the backcourt that can really push up. He didn't feel confident they could stay in front of their men. Now that they learned the system, you'll see a lot more of that pressure defense out front, probably a little less zone unless it's a team that really doesn't have an outside threat. What that allows them to do is control tempo as well. Get the ball off the glass, get out and run, get into fast break opportunities. So I think he's a little bit more confident in their one-on-one defensive intensity and awareness on the court than he was in the past.
And Evan Turner in the first game, a triple-double, outstanding effort. And I know that the only other Buckeye in their history to do that is Dennis Hobson, who's from Toledo, just like you, Jim. Just talk about how difficult it is to get a triple-double.
It's tough. I mean, because you have to have double digits in points, double digits in rebounds, double digits in steals or assists. And that's hard to do because especially with assists, you're relying on somebody else to score the basketball when you pass it to them. Rebounding and scoring, you can kind of control by yourself. But I don't care who you're playing against, whether it's Alcorn State or North Carolina or whoever it may be, it's still difficult. Now, will he continue to do pouring more triple-doubles? We might see another one, but he's definitely a double-double player.
All right. Okay. Well, Jim, we'll be back in a moment.
Let's say you wake up in 2010 and there's no gravity. What would you do? You could tether yourself to a tree. You could complain about your floaty hair and the fact that your car is never where you parked it. Or, in the midst of all the chaos, you could be happy that at least one thing hasn't changed. The price of your WOW bundle. Add WOW phone or internet service to your WOW cable, and your price is guaranteed until 2011. Because it feels good to know that not everything is going up. The switch is easy. Call WOW today.
Welcome back to our second phase of the interview with Jim Jackson. And Jim, we were talking about Evan Turner's triple-double. How close did you come to a triple-double?
I couldn't even tell you.
Couldn't tell you? You never got close?
I got close, but not close
Was
enough.
it because of rebounds or assists? So can you remember? Because with your ability playing like point forward, you probably had some chances.
I had some chances, but the unique thing, Evan had the ball in his hand all the time.
Okay.
And so he was always involved in every play. I was fortunate enough that with Mark and with Jamie, even with Jamal and Alex, I didn't have to handle the ball as much all the time. I think maybe if I could have, I would have been in that situation. But I tell you what, trying to get a triple-double on our team wasn't that hard if I had the ball because we had guys that can finish all the time.
Okay. Well, I want to talk about what happened this summer. I know Ohio State had a chance to go over to Canada and get some extra practice, extra games, and they had a chance to scrimmage against a bunch of former players. Question I have is, why didn't you play? Because I know Greg Oden played, Michael Conley Jr. Where was Jim Jackson?
Hey, Jim Jackson hasn't played in almost 4 years. When I retired, I put it up, unless I play with my son because he thinks he can beat me, but that's not happening. But I gave it up, man. I said I was fortunate to only have one major injury when I played. And I didn't want to get another one at 38, 39 and have to try to, have ACL surgery or Achilles surgery at 39. So I just watch.
Now, Jim, I know one of the biggest things that athletes have to go through, especially in your situation, is that transition from the NBA into corporate America. Just tell the viewers and listeners out there that what you're doing now.
That transition is tough because you're used to an environment where everything is regimented. You get up at a certain time, you go to practice, you take your nap, then you play, or then you travel. In the summertime, you have your training schedule. So your time is allocated according to your profession, which is basketball. when you get out of basketball, now you have so much time on your hand. If you don't have another occupation, you got to fill that. Fortunately for me, the Big Ten Network came on board so I can utilize that during the basketball season. With our partnership with our development company here in town with the Daimler Group in Q3 Development, that keeps me busy. So the transition for me was I had a little lull time for the first 4 or 5 months when I retired, but I jumped full steam ahead into my business, which is development, that has kept me busy since then.
And then also you got to throw in a little golf. I know we touched on this last year. We got a little rivalry between you and Jamie Skelton and Troy Taylor and I. And I think based on my memory, we have the upper hand. So we have to get back out there and do that again.
Well, I was always taught respect your elders. So you always let the older guys kind of win the game just to give them, you know, the respect that they deserve. Next year is not going to happen.
Yeah, I hear that. Hey, remember,
the wings.
It goes by very, very fast, man. You'll be right where we are one day.
Hey, trust me, I see it now when guys, I remember you when I was 10, and now they're 28, 29. I'm like, oh, my goodness.
Wow. Well, Jim, thanks again for taking time out of your busy schedule. I know that you got a full slate with your career and obviously with the Big Ten Network, and might say you do a phenomenal job. So thanks again for stopping by and spending a few moments with us.
No, thank you, and you do a great job as well, Ronnie. Don't underestimate that. So anytime.
All right. Thanks, Jim.
All right.
Thank you for visiting the Ron Stokes Buckeye Weekly Update, brought to you by WOW Internet Phone and Cable.